Hi there, this is Penelope. This is a short video on polynomials and what a polynomial is. The official story is that a polynomial is a string of multiples of non-negative whole number powers of a variable. Whoa, what does that mean? Let's have a look at some and see that these are indeed polynomials. A polynomial is an expression where the powers of x are non-negative whole numbers. So, if we have a look at this, this has got x to the power of 4 and 3 and 2 and 1, and this must be x to the power of 0. So where it's got x to the power of 4, we called it a quadratic expression. The next one has x to the power of 3 and 2 and 1 and 0. So again, all the powers of x are non-negative whole numbers. That's a cubic. The next one you'll recognize as being a quadratic. The next one is polynomial because it's got x to the power of 1. That's a linear expression. And the last one is also a polynomial. It's a constant polynomial. It's got x to the power of 0 hidden in there. So we talk about that as being a constant. So 3 is a polynomial because we could write it as 3x to the power of 0. 3 over x is not a polynomial because that's 3x to the power of -1. The square root of x is not a polynomial because really we'd be writing that as x to the half, and that is not a whole number either. In terms of the graphs, a polynomial as a graph is continuous, and that's something you need to remember, so that a polynomial graph is continuous. So in the diagram here, the first two are linear. These are quadratics. They've each got x to the power of 2 as their biggest power. It doesn't matter that it's a negative there, it's that the power is positive. And the third diagram, these are cubics. And again, it doesn't matter that there's a negative sign there, it's the fact that the power of x is positive and a whole number. If we looked at something like y equals x to the -1, so that's 1 over x, then the graph is not continuous. It's something like, like that. And y equals 1 over x squared, or x to the -2, that's something like that. And again, it's not continuous. So a polynomial graph is a continuous graph.